change and are likely to change throughout the year. And so at the moment, the way the P&P works is, you fill in what you've delivered at the end of the year, not specific, and then you create the goals at the end. At the end of the year to fit into what you've delivered. So I don't mind the goals change. If we had some goal sets, I don't mind the goals changing. But it would just be nice to have some goals at the beginning.
Yeah, so you don't really have fixed goals or anything by the sound of it.
Apart from the P&L target.
Right.
And then there's some ideas about what you might work on, and yes, that's fine. But there's nothing there to say, look, you need to. There's not so many goals there that say you need to deliver X, Y, Z, and it will divert that skill, and then you will move on to that. It's probably not the nature of the business too, but it just doesn't seem, it's not working.
Okay.
I'd probably say that's probably one of the reasons why it needs to be a live document in real time. Because I mean, if your goals are going to change anyway, then what's the point in setting them? They might not, but it should be evolving. It should be like a plant that you're watering, and you should be adding to it as you go along. But for example, I'll set a goal, which is my goal is to reach A, but then A is just not that important anymore. So mid-year, do I just go there and delete it and put something else in? I don't know.
But then that's forgotten.
Then it's forgotten.
And you've achieved that, so it should be forgotten, should it?
It should be alive, so you should, yes, I've done this, but maybe we'll park it, and you put so you've put some feedback as to what you've done to achieve A, but now B has become more important, so we'll focus on that, but not necessarily delete it or get rid of it. But if it was a live document, then it'd just be easier to, again, change your goals as the environment changes, marketing conditions change, so you need to keep up with that. There's no point in, well, I said that I'll do it, so I'll have to do it, but
yes, so
just have it so that it's continuous thing.
So in this world then, where if we were all doing this to keep up with what's happening in the real world, the changing nature of business priorities and what have you, if our goals were evolving throughout the year to really match that and match it effectively, how then would you like to see your goals used to evaluate your performance if they're changing regularly? What could we do to make that those goals really work for you and how you've responded to them? You see what I mean? So say you had 5 at the moment, say you've got 5 goals at the beginning of the year and you achieve them all great, and you might get a great evaluation as a result of that. In a real world, those goals are going to change a lot, maybe. If they do, what could we be doing to make sure that how you respond to those changing goals really is what's discussed and you're rewarded for in your evaluations?
So that's more to do with behaviours, isn't it? So, I mean, you have items you need to deliver, but it's the way that you deliver it. And some people are receptive to change, some people are not. And so it's for the manager to say, to help you, if you're not so good at dealing with change, help you to deal with that change. And then, I don't have anything to add to that.
Basically be marked on what you do, but also who
how you do
are.
it.
Yeah. So again, a sort of and I don't know whether it was purely because maybe I led you a bit there, I don't know, but it's really interesting. Perhaps what I achieve is less important than how I achieve it, in terms of my goals need to keep changing, so it's how I respond to that, how I react to change, and you just said behaviours perhaps are more important. I don't know, let's talk a little bit more about that. Any other thoughts?
I've also added thing about behaviours. I mean, your performance should not simply be based on have you achieved this task. It should also be around things around you can make a difference. Like, for example, how are your communication skills? How are your interpersonal skills? Does it need improvement, or how it can be improved, or how do you contribute towards the broader development of the team or the function as a whole?
Okay. And yeah, Tracy, you were adding to that, I think.
Attendance.
Yeah, tell us
you know,
more
like
about
when
that.
you're at school, you don't get 100% attendance, you don't go to the party. No.
The disco.
Yeah. You know, I think, well, obviously attendance is a good thing as well, isn't it? Because if you're there, I mean, everyone's ill, they're not, we don't get 100% attendance, we always have something. But it's not based on, you can get the same, I can get the same great rating as somebody else who ain't been there half the year.
Okay, all right. So how reliable you are and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it does count.
I think performance is all encompassing. It's not
That's what
purely
Chevron
just.
way, isn't it? From Chevron way, some kind of thing. So basically, you have 10 things to do at the end of the year. You finish everything, but your rating will be based on how you're doing it. I mean, how good the communication was, how good you've done the work based on Chevron way in terms of documentation, presentations, everything. It's not just you've done the job, that means you get a great rating now.
Okay.
So you have to do all of these as well based on that you get the grading.
And Fatima, you were going to add there?
No, that's pretty
Same
much
thing.
what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, the importance of considering the Chevron way in evaluation. Right, doing it again to me, aren't you? You're splitting us over here.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I say there are behaviours?
Yes.
I think people's behaviours, they're not necessarily included in the formal PMP system, but in my experience, your behaviours catch up with you in the end. So if you're a person who people like to work with, you develop a bigger network, people want to approach you for work. Conversely, if you're a bit of a pain to work with, those people tend to develop a bit of a reputation, and I've seen some people who are actually quite good in terms of their formal goals. Yeah, I did all this by the end of the year, and I excelled. But their poor behaviours catch up with them in the end, and they're left standing, or they find themselves moved to one side. So I think the behaviours catch up with you in the end.
Yeah, it depends on probably what department you work for. Because I don't think Chevron's very uniform all around, because every section has different policies and practices. Yeah. So the whole trading floor, you go from one end to the other end, 270 feet or whatever it is, and everyone has a different uniform.
Okay.
They're all different. This one
And
works
I would
this one,
say-
this one allows that, this one don't allow that, this one does this one don't do that. It should be uniform across the floor.
What's interesting, I think, in London office is you are different groups all living under the same roof, which we don't have so much. We have 2 different groups in Aberdeen, but really it's much easier to see consistency in that location in terms of behaviours and how they're used in performance versus here where you might, what you see as your reality, you might quite happily here see different behaviours getting rewarded and evaluated differently. I know I experienced that when I was in London.
It's very much so, very much so.
Okay.
The goalpost is here this side, and then here this side, and then there's no goalpost at that end.
Right. Okay. We're on the home run now, everyone. Let's let you really go for it now on how your performance is evaluated. Now, I've heard lots already about, and there's post-its on here about removing ranking and that kind of thing in the what you would stop. If we can, let's move to this fantastic world where we're even better than we are today, and we've got a performance management system that's really supporting us in performing, being motivated, achieving what we want to achieve, what the company wants us to achieve. Think about what your evaluation would look like. How would your evaluation, i.e. being told how you're doing, how specifically could that look different? Now, at the moment, we kind of had an interim PMP discussion, and you might have a bit of an evaluation in there, but not a formal one. You have a conversation. But you have a year-end formal evaluation piece. So we know how that works in the current system. How would you like it to work instead?
I got some feedback from one of my colleagues. He said, first of all, why do we even tell people the ratings? He says, we have a 3x3 matrix. Do we disclose the 3x3 ratings? No. So why even tell here your rating is a 2 or a rating is a 1 or whatever? Because people are concerned why about the rating, firstly, in terms of satisfaction, and secondly, most important is pay. Is your pay going up or not going up? And when people came across, they said, a supervisor says, you've done fantastic, your performance has been excellent, but it does not justify a pay increase still.
Yeah.
So he says, how does it tie up if my performance is good, but it doesn't justify a pay increase? Rather, it should have been put across more as what is the company's performance, oil prices, and industry conditions, instead of saying that your performance doesn't merit a increase.
Yeah.
And also, it says that how do people feel motivated if for the last 2